I mean, I usually base, I don't know how close it is to 10:30 when we get done with this. But if you guys want to go around anyway. Yeah, that's cool.
Good morning and welcome to the Crawford County Commissioners Work Session for July 19th. We'll start with IT.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning, Tim.
IT is here to request to ratify the purchase of the Sophos Security Renewal and Enhanced Plus support for 13 months from CDI LLC for $891.58.
Any questions for Tim? Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
GIS, Andrew.
Morning, Andrew.
Morning, Andrew.
And I'm here to ratify the purchase to Esri for our license agreement for the period of July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024 for the amount of $55,000, which is to be paid with ARPA funds.
Any questions for Andrew? No. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Judicial maintenance.
Morning, Tim.
Morning, Tim.
First off, on this, approve the Schindler elevator payment for $21,303.96. I'd like to change that to ratify if I could.
Okay.
This payment was due May 31st, and I don't want to get into a service hold, so if we have an entrapment over there or something that we're hosed.
Okay.
And I did call my salesman, Dave O'Brien, there. We had, because of a labor and material, we had a 16.66% increase this year in the fee. So for the balance of this contract, it's a 10-year contract, it's up in 2028. I got them to agree to a 4% cap on any increase as far as labor and material.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any questions for Tim?
Yeah, I mean, that you touched on it, because Denise gave me the figures. In 2018, we paid $13,375. They raised it 12.88%, then 6.9, 3.29, 7.5, and this is actually an 18.88% increase. I mean, is this proprietary and there's no other, we have to use Schindler?
It
'Cause
is
that's
proprietary, it's their.
There's nothing we can do.
No, it's their elevators, and they have the access to the parts.
Sounds like a good gig, doesn't it, Tim?
So it is a good gig, it's a lot of that stuff in that
Should be
building
selling
is-
elevators.
Is proprietary.
And this
know.
covers all three elevators over there.
Yes, and I mean, I know for a fact, the Otis one here is $11,000 for one car per year, so.
How much, like in a year, just an annual year, how many times have they ever had to do anything besides routine maintenance?
Well, they come in last week and did some, and we did have an entrapment about a month and a half ago over there, so.
Okay. Thank you, Tim.
Mm-hmm, that it?
Yep, thank you.
All right, thanks.
The Care Center. I'm glad
That's
you
just
came,
awful.
Tanya. I was gonna have to do this, so.
That's just awful.
It's
He
awesome.
was really happy to see you. Morning, Tanya.
Good morning.
Morning, Tanya.
Request to approve the contract with Consonant Healing Medical Associates of PA to provide wound care consultation services to facility residents. The provider shall be responsible for billing the residents applicable Medicare administrative contractor, Medicaid, or any other governmental or third party covering the resident's stay.
Okay, and before you do B, C, and D, I just wanna talk about, why we're getting into these
Sure.
staffing agencies, because it's important so everybody understands. The ratio and the law changed on July 1st, and it requires us to have more of an adjustment to number of providers to our residents, and we cannot meet those numbers because of our decrease in staff. So we are having to be forced to use out agency staffing for some of these. That's what these ratifications are for. So okay, thank you.
Very good.
Request to ratify the staffing agreement with Cross Country Healthcare Services to provide temporary clinical personnel.
Okay,
And request to ratify the staffing agreement with Fusion Medical Staffing to provide temporary clinical personnel.
okay,
Request to ratify the staffing services agreement with Maxim Healthcare Staffing Services to provide temporary clinical personnel.
okay.
Request to ratify a part-time infection preventionist position effective 6/19/23.
Okay, thanks Cheyenne for staying on for us. Appreciate it.
Sure, yep. We got her a little bit longer.
Yeah,
Hold of her.
skis as long as we can.
Request to approve the $3,300 invoice with Biomerex to purchase 1 case of BioFire panel tests.
Okay,
Request to ratify the $1,006.61 invoice with Absolute Fire Protection, and this was for an emergency service call to repair the sprinkler line.
okay,
Request to approve the $944.54 invoice with Granger for the purchase of air filters for the rooftop unit.
okay,
Request to approve the $1,460.10 invoice with Direct Supply for the purchase of 2 PTAC units for resident rooms.
can you describe the reasoning for that?
Yep, the resident rooms have individualized temperature, heat and cold, separate from the common area HVAC system, so this is for a resident room.
Okay,
Request to approve the $2,750 invoice with HVA Senior Living Alliance for enrollment of 2 students in the nurse aid training and competency evaluation program.
okay,
And request to ratify the $9,800 invoice with Direct Supply. And this is for the purchase of the Triton Smart Universal Ultra High Efficiency 100-gallon hot water heater.
and I appreciate John tried to do everything he could to extend and make it work, and there's just nothing else that could be done with it. so.
Yeah, and he really searched for that.
He did, I
that price.
appreciate that,
At first
so.
it was 10 and he got it down to 9.
Yeah.
Request to approve the $1,481.40 estimate with Bulldog Lock and Safe, and that's to purchase 2 Kimba Simplex Schlag locks, and those are the push-button locks that are on our doors.
I knew that's what it was.
Request to ratify the $2,499 purchase from Amazon, and that was for an AED defibrillator.
And Monica helped with that a little bit, but
Yes.
this is one of the times you talk about something that's crazy. The actual AEDs we had, there was no more pads
Pads.
available. And in fact, Human Services had the same issue, same supplier. They just didn't have pads anymore so the AED itself necessarily wasn't bad.
Yeah.
There was just no pads for
Yeah.
it, so we had to buy a different AED. It was crazy, but. Okay,
On a side note, we have kept this in the packaging, so if we can get the pads, we
yeah.
can send
try-
it back.
Yeah, trying to find, yeah.
Request to approve the $28,000, $279.74, charge for Novitas Solution, and this was overpayment identified in the 2022 cost report settlement.
Can you explain that a little bit, how we got to that?
Yep, so when we bill Medicare for services, every year we do a cost report, and they look at every charge, and they identified that we had submitted an overpayment. They paid us, so now we have to pay them back.
Okay, thank you.
Request to approve the $753 invoice with Rabe Environmental Systems, and this is for installation services on the rooftop unit.
Any questions for Tanya? Thank you.
Nope,
Appreciate
thank
your
you,
description.
thank you.
Planning,
Morning, Commissioners.
morning,
Morning,
Zach.
Zach.
6 items this morning for you. The first, we're asking for approval on a pay application from Kling and Smith Enterprises. This is for the North and South Shenango Joint Municipal Authority. The amount is $17,724.50. This was out of the CDBG CV program, and it's a non-budgeted item.
Thank you.
We also are asking to pay an application for Glenn O. Hawbarker in the amount of $114,822 for paving in the city of Titusville associated with their 2021 CDBG program. It's paid for out of the Titusville's CDBG program.
Okay,
We're also asking for paying an invoice from the Meadville Tribune in the amount of $1,156 for publications associated with the East Branch Trail invitation for bid. That is paid for out of the ARC Power Grant associated with that project.
okay,
Next, we're asking to ratify approval to send Samantha Travis and Casey Dixon from our office to the CDBG Administrator Training in Indiana, PA for next week. The amount is $1,324.24. This is all paid for out of the CDBG program.
okay,
Next, we're asking to execute a contract and payment for the Crawford, or the Cochranton Fair for a public engagement activity with the 2024 comprehensive plan. It was a $50 fee, and it's paid for out of the State Facilities and Transition Closure Program.
I think it's important to mention that not only the planning commission, but yourself or some of your staff are trying to be in other areas. So if you're in the public and you see them, we ask that you participate in the progress and the potential information will be used through the actual comprehensive plan, so I think it's important. I appreciate, I saw you in town, Bill. We're gonna be in Cockerton, where else we're gonna be?
Yeah, we've
coming up?
got 11 sites across the
11
county.
sites.
The next one also is for covering the chambers, ratifying a contract and payment for the chamber here for Thunder in the City. And it's a $50 fee paid for out of the same program. But we'll be in Cambridge, we'll be in Cockerton.
And the Crawford County Fair, where will we be located at the fair? That'll be,
The Fair Board hasn't determined
Okay.
that. They may be in one of two
Okay.
locations or may be moving, but we will be there every night, Monday through Friday.
okay, good, okay, thank you. Any questions for Zach? Thank you, Zach.
All right, thank you.
Maintenance?
Morning, Mark.
Asking to ratify approval to pay an invoice for the courthouse remodeling project, the HVAC project, for $392.
Okay,
Asking to ratify approvals for the remodeling of the voter services offices, Annie's Flooring and Commercial Services for $3,834, Home Depot for $101.67.
I'd just like to say, I mean, really kudos to Steve, because as we go through every office, the rooms are looking really good, and I'm really happy with the first floor. He's already moved on to the GIS office, and that will be the last office, and our entire first floor will have been painted and renovated, and I think that's important for not only this board, but all the people who work for us, that it just looks great. The voter service office is gonna be a much larger space. People will be able to come here, get their mail-in ballots, and vote if they need to this fall, and I'm excited that we got it moved in there so quickly, so. Thank you to Steve and all the staff for getting them across, and the voter staff, because they did
Yeah.
a lot of that work
They did a lot
themselves,
of
so.
moving,
It's
yeah.
really good, saving us a lot of money, it looks great, so.
Thank you. Asking approval to pay Eads Architects for professional services, the window remodel project. One invoice for $961.36, another invoice for $2,291.70, and another invoice for $576.11.
Does that complete it almost?
Brian sent me he's sending me what's owed
Okay.
on all the projects,
Oh,
HVAC,
oh,
windows,
good.
all that stuff. I'll report that tomorrow
Thank you,
morning.
thank you.
Asking approval to pay an invoice for Gutters Choice to install gutters on the south side livestock complex to fairgrounds for $8,800.
Okay,
Asking to ratify approval to pay invoice to Jordan Specialty Excavating to build a water retention pond at the fairgrounds for $42,995.20.
Francis,
That project turned out great. He did a great job. And it's gonna be easy to maintain,
Yeah.
mow right to the edge, and
They did a nice job.
I
that
say,
turned out, and it's
Holding
doing a
back
great
lot of
job.
water.
yeah, you're holding a lot of
It's
water.
really doing what it's supposed to.
Big thank you to Jordan Excavating, Crawford County company,
Yeah.
who did it and did great work, and did it quickly, too. so.
Yeah, they did quickly.
Yeah, they even had, Jordan's got positive comments from the designer from
Oh, yeah.
the Clarion office, because she said he understood it and knew what to do and did a great job, unlike some other areas where she does the same thing.
Yeah.
It's great, so,
They did a
yeah.
great job. Lastly, ask and approve an invoice to the Meadville Tribune. This is for advertising to relocate the water line for the care center, $797.50.
Thank you. Any questions for Mark?
Nope.
Thank you, Mark. Human Services.
Good morning.
Morning, Sue.
Morning, Sue.
I'm requesting approval of the fiscal year 23-24 MATP Assurance of Compliance Agreement. Requesting ratification of the purchase requisition to McCandless Ford for alternator repairs to vehicle number 9. The total cost was $1,022.17. The cost to the county was $177.29. Requesting ratification of the purchase requisition to Word Systems LLC for the maintenance agreement for the equipment at the Crawford County Children's Interview Center. The total cost was $2,346.12. The cost to the county was $534.21. This is a budgeted item. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 23-24 CYS JP contract with Diversified Treatment Alternative Centers for residential treatment and comprehensive inpatient diagnostic evaluation services. And requesting approval of the fiscal year 23-24 mental health contract with Community Counseling Center of Mercer County for outpatient school-based mental health assessment and therapy services.
Any
That
question?
oops,
Oops, sorry,
sorry,
go ahead.
that contract's for outpatient services at Jamestown.
Sorry about that,
Schools.
apologize. Any questions for Sue? Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Finance, Stephanie,
Good morning.
better bring it over a
Morning,
little
Stephanie.
closer to you. There you go. Thank you.
Okay. For your approval, I have invoices totaling $105,174. The first is to Mayor Dussel. It's the third progress billing for the 2022 audit services. The invoice number is 111120 in the amount of $38,500, and that comes from the Finance Department. The second is to Community Health Services. It's the June 2023 trip reimbursement. Invoice number is 165 in the amount of $66,674, and that comes from MATP. And then lastly, for ratification, I have an agreement, application with First Energy Business Solutions, and it is a rebate for the lighting project at the Crawford County Correctional Facility. We will be getting a rebate in the amount of $984.29.
Any questions for Stephanie? Thank you.
Thanks.
The Fair Board and Commissioner Wiederspin will handle that.
Yeah, I'd like to request approval of the service agreement with Dr. Drummond, and she will be serving as the Crawford County Fair Board's veterinarian. She will do those veterinary services for the Fair Board, not for individuals, but she's the fair's vet. And the board has approved that, so now it's before us for our approval.
Thank you, Francis. Commissioner's office.
Okay, first one is going to be revised. The revised version did not make it to the agenda, but it is NPDES stormwater permit application renewal project on Caldwell Street in the city of Titusville. And the second item is an Act 1467-68-127 notification for the permit for Chapter 105 registration for Brownwood Road exposed pipe remediation project in Bloomfield Township.
Thank you. Upcoming meetings, we have July 26th will be a full session. The next work session will be August 2nd, 2023. Any public comment? Commissioner comments, Commissioner Soft,
Nothing this morning, thank you.
Commissioner Wiederspin.
Nothing other than the countdown to the fair. It's a month away.
And Francis, could you want to give one additional plug about where you can get passes and tickets? People have been asking me again, so if you would.
Yeah, there's various places you can get a fair pass. You can get either the button, or you can actually still get the paper pass like they've had before. We have the buttons here in the courthouse, up in the commissioner's office. You can get them at the fair office. And then if you go on the fair's website, I believe they have the listings of the various areas. I don't have that information in front of me, but there's several other areas around where you can also buy those passes.
And they're $30.
$30 for general admission for the week.
And I did notice that on some of the events, they're $5 tickets for some of the motor show events, so pretty affordable in that same time.
Yeah,
so.
just about every event in the grandstand's very affordable.
$5 or $10. So.
Yep,
Okay, if not any other questions or anything, we'll see you next week. Thank you.
thank you.